Hey folks, this is Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. I had some miscellaneous comments and thoughts on MMA that I just wanted to get off my chest, and want to maybe hear some other people's opinions on some of these things. The first thing, does anybody even watch boxing anymore? I mean, I used to be a big boxing fan because that was the only show in town really for fighting, and since MMA, since it got turned on MMA, I don't even watch boxing at all. I mean, to me, it's like watching baseball now. It's just too boring. So I don't watch it anymore, and I'm curious if anybody else watches it. And I think I got some other, and also, which I'll talk about later, the fighter salaries. MMA fighters compared to boxers don't get paid hardly anything. Like Brock Lesnar and GSP only got $400,000. Which that's pretty small compared to boxing, which you got. I think Oscar De La Hoya get like 10 million or something like that back in the day. I don't know what he gets now, or people like him. Second topic: some good fighters are being pushed down to the undercard. I don't know if you've been noticing that, man. There's some really good fights on the undercards that I really wanted to see. Some I thought were pretty big names, and they're getting pushed down to the may not be aired section of the fight card, and sort of disappointed in that, but also in the same respects, it should make for better fights because people really are going to compete to be seen. So that's sort of a double-edged, it's sort of a give and take on that. That may be good or not. And I don't know if you've been watching Showtime. I think is going to be the biggest threat to UFC dominance because there's a couple things they got going on. They got Elite XC now on Showtime. They've got I don't know if it's Show XC Challenger Series or something. They've got several, and they got more than I even want to watch. I'm like, my gosh, man, it's just too much, I think they could seriously be a threat to the UFC in the long run because they seem to be putting on a halfway decent show. And like I say, it is Showtime, so I mean they got the backing. So you might want to, if you're wanting more MMA and watch different fighters, you probably should turn that on. Or if you've got Showtime you haven't been watching, you should check that out. Next thing, MMA is going to be the biggest sport. I mean, no doubt. It's primitive. It's the essence of competition is fighting. You know what I'm saying? The essence of competition is not a basketball or football or baseball or soccer ball. It is just flat ass kicking some ass. That's really the ultimate in sport. Now, MMA in itself is not really fighting. I mean, it's close as you're going to get in a sport, but anyway, I love it. It's international. I love it because it's not like, oh, it's American football. No, it's global. And I love having champions from different parts of the world. It's like I say, the world's getting smaller, folks, and this is going to be an amazing sport. It's going to go huge. I mean, it's huge. Matter of fact, I don't even watch any other sports. I don't watch baseball. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch any of them. I mean, I may go to a few local games because it's local and I know some of the people and stuff, or want to be part of the community, but I only watch the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I don't even watch the World Series of baseball. That's how boring this stuff is to me. Plus, I want to get dual purpose out of what I'm watching. I mean, if I watch a guy on MMA, get out of a submission I didn't think it happened, and some guy picks on me on the street, I'm like, and he gets on top of me, I'm like, hell, there's a way out of this. I've seen it too many times on MMA. So it's you're getting dual purpose. You get some ass kicking skills plus some entertainment. So I like that. I like getting dual purpose out of everything I do. I want to talk about fighter salaries, and I just talked about at the beginning. I mean, they ain't getting paid hardly anything to get in there. I mean, some of them, obviously like Brock Lesnar and GSP are getting paid some. I don't know if they're getting paid. Oh, I wanted to say before I started talking about these salaries, I got this information on salaries from MMA Junkie. So if you want to look that up and see the salaries, you can go to their website. Like Brock Lesnar got $400,000, GSP got $400,000. I think $200,000 his was from winning or something, win bonus. So, and I thought this was sort of crappy. Brock Lesnar got $400,000 for fighting Mir. Mir only got $45,000. I'm like, you got to be kidding! He's a. I just that's hard for me to fathom. And I think really what it all boils down to is how many asses you put in the seat. or how much a draw you got, you know, and maybe Mir just don't have the draw like Brock Lesnar does, you know, but because I think even though he's on the undercard, whatever that Smash Machine guy's name is, oh, Mark Coleman, he got 100,000, which was a lot compared to a lot of the other guys. Like Thiago Alva's got 60,000, and Dan Henderson got about 250. Bisping got 150, which Bisping, in my opinion, shouldn't have got 150 compared to the others, but I guess he's got a big UK draw to him or something. Belcher only got 19,000. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't know how the rest of you feel about your body. I'm 37. I feel pain. There's no way in hell I'd get in there for $19,000. I wouldn't let you break my hand or break my fist for $19,000. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've got to live a long time in this body. I'm not going to fight for no reason. If I do fight, I'm going to fight to kill. I'm going to come with overwhelming force. So, I mean, I don't want nothing to do with it. John Jones got 18,000. JT Grant, which I don't even know who he is, he made 5,000. That's probably why he made 5,000, because I don't know who he is. And the average salary was 70,000. The median salary, which if you don't know much about math, that means if you line all the salaries up, the one in the middle, so half the people below that, half are above it, was 22,000. Half the guys on that card made less than 22,000. You know, you think you see somebody on TV and you're like, man, they're probably making millions of dollars. No, these guys are barely making it. I hope they're making money off their sponsors, because if they ain't getting paid hardly diddly from the UFC, you know, compared to, you know, the damage long-term injuries they're going to have from that game. And so that brings up a second point. And I even heard GSP talk about this after the fight, and he's like, oh my gosh, he said, I'm going to wind up dying in the octagon. And he's like, this is sort of silly, dying for a sport. And I was like, yeah, that's some wisdom, dude. You need to be listening to that instead of ignoring it. He said, but it's my job. I'm like, dude, you need to be listening to that. And so here I've got a couple comments. This is said by, he who leaves the game wins it. And I don't mean walk away from beating somebody's ass. I mean just don't even compete in the first place. And that was, I'm going to probably botch his name, but Sebastian Roach, Nicholas Chamfort. Too many names. He probably had a big ego. And here's another one. Real winners don't compete. Christian Morgenstein. And here's what Lao Tzu said. Since the sage does not compete, he does not meet competition. Folks, it's really sort of silly to fight unless you absolutely have to. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I'm not saying I'm not going to continue watching, because I am. But as you get older, and I've watched too many sports people, they always get injuries. Where I work out at, it's a physical therapy place, and I'll see the people playing sports on Friday, and then the next Monday I see them in the physical therapy place getting worked on. I'm telling you, folks, if you're going to live a long time in this body, you should avoid it. If you need to avoid fighting if all possible. But anyway, MMA Live. You know, I was big on MMA Live at first because they weren't being ridiculous. They weren't showing too many commercials. Now when I watch, it's like 3 commercials every. I mean, it's like 3 commercials every 5 minutes. You know, I'm like, give me a break, dude. Y'all are killing me. Y'all ain't that big. Y'all need to get your act together and cut back on the commercials. I'll be honest with you, I ain't watching any more of them. It ain't worth my time to sit there and watch, you know, a 50-minute video, watch 15 minutes of commercials. I ain't done it. I don't need to know what they need to know. I mean, I'll watch it somewhere else or won't even watch it. Next thing, MMA trash talkers. I mean, a lot of people want to, I put the video out there and people want to talk some trash. You know what? Here's what I say to you. And I'm only going to say one thing to you and I'm going to leave it. If you walk the walk, you don't have to talk the talk. Enough said. If you haven't seen it, this video is great, man. The Art of War. And I mean, if you don't know what the Art of War is, which probably some of you do, probably maybe a lot of you, I don't recommend reading. I mean, you can read the book if you want by Sun Tzu, but I'm telling you what, man, that video is awesome. I've got it in my favorites. It's just, it was on the History Channel, and I've read Art of War, and I didn't really, some of it just seems hard to get, you know, but man, it was awesome. The videos, the show was awesome, man. It gave so much light to real fighting and combat. And the Art of War, I mean, it was amazing. If you get a chance, go check out my favorites. Go to that Art of War, and there's a bunch of them in there. There's probably, Anyway, I'm running short on time on this video. But you definitely should go check it out. It is amazing. Anyway, I'm going to have to cut this short. And here's a couple other books I think you might like. Meditations on Violence. This guy's a police officer, and he's talking about how real violence happens and how you can get your ass in trouble if, if you're good at MMA and you think that's real street fighting. It ain't real street fighting. It's MMA. It's a sport. So I would definitely, again, read that book if you're into fighting and you really want to know real street combat and that kind of thing. The mentality. It's more the mentality than the techniques. And here's another one. Like I said, I'm running short on time. Budo Secrets. It's basically a bunch of philosophies from all the masters in Japan, plus some stories. And it's got some great stories, and I would love to tell you, but I'm really running short on time. Anyway, if you wouldn't mind, please rate the video and let me hear what you have to think. Later, folks.